All right, Scott, let's just talk briefly about the movement of today's coaches top 20 that just came out. Not a lot of movement. And I guess it all starts with Rumson just falling down and the other schools moved up, right? Naturally just moved up.
Right, and you can't, you can't dock Rumson too much for losing to Toms River North. They lost to a team that was ranked ahead of them, but they did give up 500 yards of offense in that game. Toms River North, like I think that it's going to start to heat up a little bit between or them and or RBC, the number one team, after North had two impressive wins to start the year. So I think that's another thing to monitor. You were at Middletown South, Long Branch South kind of solidified that number three spot. Long Branch drops a little bit, but I still think they're a threat. Interesting this week, we have Wall, who's been sitting in the top 10, had the first week bye, is going to play the number one team, RBC. So we'll see how that works out as far as they're tested. I was at Jackson Memorial. Clearly, the coaches thought their win over Brick Memorial was a solid one because you see them jump up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like when teams drop out and then they drop back in. Vianney came back in. Um, like you said about Rumson, you have to move them down slightly, but they're going to bounce right back with a win here or there. Middletown South and Donovan Catholic are going to be fighting for that number 3 ranking all year. Middletown South's very good, and Donovan Catholic has shown that they got young guys that are ready to step up to the plate, on the big stage. So they're going to be
Well,
tough.
and I think Donovan Catholic would take issue with that and say, we're not fighting for the number 3 ranking. We're going to fight for the number 1 ranking by the end of this year. But you're right. I think that the good thing is with a lot of this, it will be settled on the field. And the big one we're looking at this week, you have Point Borough against Manasquan, 2 top 10 teams right there. So there might be a little shakeup in the rankings. And also, shout out to Monmouth Regional popping into the rankings for the first time this week.
It's really nice when your peers vote you in a top 20 and give that. But there's going to be a lot of movement every week. Subtle movement happened this week. A lot of big games this week. So there's going to be a lot of movement on the coaches top 20 going into next